Hi, in this video we're going to be drawing a beautiful picture of a massive wave with a lovely whale's tail sticking out of it. So what we're going to start by doing is drawing our actual wave. So we're going to start near the top of our page, and I just want you to draw a C shape going towards the end of your page and go off your page. So that's going to be the top of our wave. And now we're going to draw another C shape. Now our whale's tail is going to stick out of the wave. So I don't want you to do a tiny little C that goes off the page. I want you to start from there and draw a nice deep C where we've left lots of space for our whale's tail to stick out. Now, if you ever looked at the ocean, there's lots of wavy kind of shapes, and there's lots of different colors too. So what we're going to do is color in our wave with a few different colors, and we're going to draw lines in the wave for each of these. Okay, so I'm just almost drawing an S shape now, and I'm going to draw a nice skinny one here at the top. Okay, and we're going to draw each of these parts of the wave in a different color of blue or green. Now before we get coloring, we need to draw our whale's tail, and that's going to stick out of the second line here. So we want our whale's tail to fit nicely in this little spot here, and we're going to start with two ovals. So I've got an oval here. Try and draw your ovals the same size, and they're just next to each other and touching. Okay, so it just looks like two ovals that are as similar as you can make them. Okay, and we can use this to draw our whale's tail. So this is going to be an S shape now. So we're going to go off the edge of that. And then on the other side, we're going to do, it's kind of like a lying down S or a twirly line. Try and make them as similar as possible, so make them come to the same height if you can. And then we're going to let it curve down and join the bottom of our oval again. So those two ovals, they just helped us get the shape of the whale's tail. Okay, and the inside of the whale's tail is kind of from where the two circles join. If you draw a curved triangle going down, that's going to help you get the right shape. So it's kind of like a triangle, but it doesn't have straight lines, they're a little bit curved. From the bottom of the whale's tail here, we're just going to make a C shape again to join it to the whale. I'm going to make the waist of my whale a little bit fatter because his tail is looking a bit too skinny, I think. So you just have a look at your tail and decide if you need to make yours a bit fatter or not. So I'm just making my lines come out a bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to erase the circles or the ovals and the triangle that I drew earlier, and you should have now a nice outline of a whale's tail. Right, what we're going to do is get started with the colouring of our wave. Now, the sea is usually blues and greens, and blue and green are next to each other on the colour wheel. That means they blend into each other really nicely because they're in the same family. You could also add a little bit of yellow or a little bit of purple, and those colours all work really well together because they are the same family. So I want you to try and make each of these curves of your wave a slightly different colour. If you've got a nice big set of pastels, you will have 3 or 4 colours of blue anyway. And you can use, as I said, a little bit of your green and a little bit of your purple to make slightly different shades. Okay, so I'm going to start with a nice light blue at the top here. If you wanted to, you could just colour in the whole wave or the whole section of the wave one colour. Or if you'd like to practice making different shades of colours, you could blend colours together. So I'm just going to keep my first one colour, keep it nice and simple. Right, for my next one, I'm going to add another colour to it. So I'm going to start with this nice bright blue here, royal blue. And as I move down the wave, I'm going to start colouring in lighter and lighter. And when you colour in lighter, you leave space for another colour. So you could either do a bit of purple or a bit of green because those colours will blend in nicely. So I'm going to try a little bit of purple for this one. And I'm just starting at the other end, so they're going to meet in the middle. I'm pressing quite hard with my purple now, but as I get closer to where the blue is coloured in with hard, I'm pressing lighter and lighter with my purple. Now sometimes pastels, they mix together really well, like orange and yellow mix together very easily. And other colours of pastels, you need to go between the two colours a couple of times before you can get it to mix together nicely. So here, I'm going to take my blue again and just do another a lot of dark colouring with my blue. So I'm pressing really hard now, and I'm just helping the colours to blend into each other. I'm going to choose a different blue now. So you want to try and make each one look slightly different. Again, you can just colour it in one colour if you're not confident to blend the colours together, or maybe you want to add a little bit of green to this one. And so you're going to start colouring in lighter and lighter. The trick is to slowly colour lighter and lighter. So don't just suddenly start colouring in lighter. Let it get lighter slowly, slowly. And then maybe it can go back to blue again before the end of the wave. So this is just a bit of an interesting way to colour in the sea rather than colouring in the sea just plain blue. It can make it look a little bit more interesting. So you can see I'm colouring in quite hard at the bottom here, so that means not much green is going to blend into it. So if I want the green to blend into it, I need to start lightening my colouring and pressing lighter and lighter. You can also see I'm going in lots of different directions. That will also help colours to blend together nicely. Okay, so I'm just going lightly with my green at first, and then as there's more space for the green where I've coloured lighter with the blue, you can press a bit harder. Okay, and then again you might need to go back with the blue, help them mix together a little bit more. Right, if you would like to add something a little bit interesting to the wave that you've coloured in, you could also take the corner of your ruler and scrape a few patterns into your wave. So this works really well, especially on those ones that you just did one colour, because it can make it look a little bit more interesting. So you could just do some lines. So here I'm just scraping a few lines into it. When you're thinking of patterns to scrape in, I want you to try and think of the waves in the sea. What kind of things do you see on the sea? So we definitely see lots of lines in the waves, but we can also see some tumbling foam. So maybe you want to just do little twirls so it looks like the foam or the froth from the sea. Another thing that people do when they draw the sea is they just draw lots of dotted lines, so it looks like the waves on the water. So it's just kind of like little dashes. If you have some of your own ideas that I haven't mentioned, you can also do them. It's really good to be creative in art. And if you want to repeat some of them, you can. So I'm just going to repeat my lines here. Now that we've added some interesting textures to our sea, we can start with our sky. So I thought it would be really nice to do a sunset picture, because then we would use the colours on the other side of the colour wheel, our oranges and our yellows and reds. And those colours are also in their own little colour family. They're next to each other on the colour wheel, they like each other and they blend into each other really easily. But because they're on the other side of the colour wheel of the blues and the greens and the purples, it means that they contrast, they look really good next to each other and they make each other look brighter. So it's going to work really well in our picture to do a nice sunset background. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm turning my page around so that I don't smudge any of my beautiful colouring here. And I'm going to start with my red pastel at the top of the page. At first I'm going to press quite hard with my pastel and get a nice red colour, strong red colour. But as I go down, I'm going to slowly start pressing lighter and lighter. So remember, if you press lighter quickly, the two colours are not going to blend into each other as well. So you need to start slowly colouring lighter and lighter. You shouldn't see a definite line where you start colouring in lighter. Another thing that helps you to blend two colours together is to colour in a lot of different directions. So if you're only colouring in one direction, it doesn't work as well. It's helpful to think of it kind of like you mixing a cake batter. You need to go in lots of different directions or even go in circles to help it to blend together. So next to red on the colour wheel is orange, and that means orange is going to blend into it really well because they're family and friends, they're close together. Okay, and I'm going to start by colouring in really hard with my orange where I started with my red. This is because red is a darker color than orange, so you don't need as much red as you do orange. Just go carefully around the edge of the wave there. Okay, now we're going to give orange some time to itself so that it can show up how nice it looks. So I'm pressing quite hard with my orange now. Okay, and then you can slowly start pressing lighter with the orange too, and we can add our yellow in. Yellow is next to orange. And actually, if you mix red and yellow together, you get orange. So we know that these colors are going to go together really well. Again, I'm just slowly pressing lighter and lighter. I'm going to stop there because we want to also let yellow have a chance to shine by itself. So I'm pressing hard with my yellow, and I'm going over the places where I pressed lightly with the orange. Just go carefully around the edge of the wave. Get a nice clean line. Okay, and I'm colouring in circles, almost like I'm mixing these two colours together nicely. Okay, then at the bottom of the wave, it's just going to be some yellow. That would be the sun setting over the horizon. Right, we're going to colour in our whale now. And for the whale, we're going to use black and white. Okay, so we're going to start with our black pastel and colour in the base. You want to press nice and hard so that it really stands out. Okay, let's colour this in. Okay, as we get to the top of the tail, we're going to make it like some sunlight has hit the top of the whale's tail. So we're just going to do some light colouring with the black. Now black is a really dark colour, so we need to leave a lot of space for the white there. And what we're going to do with the white now is it's going to kind of make a grey for the top of the whale's tail. You might need to use some black again just to help blend the colours together. So remember, if colours are tricky to blend, which white and black are, you just need to do a couple of layers of colour. So you do black and then you do white and then you do the black and then you do the white. If you wanted to, on this left hand side of the whale, you could just take your white pastel and draw a line from the centre of the whale's tail down this left hand side. Right, and there we have a whale in the ocean. Hope you had lots of fun creating this picture and learned a little bit more about colour families and how to blend colours together. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. We put up new ideas every week. And don't forget about our Instagram account where we put up fun activities and tips and tricks as well.